All right, guys. Hi. Welcome to Old Reader New Reader. Yeah, so I made a little bit of a mistake. Um, so some of our viewers know, James knows, Gabrielle knows. But like I could also post to Omnibus Collectors Network, and I post it to there instead of here, not thinking. So it's been one of those days. But we're here.
We fixed it quick, right?
We got it worked out. I'm
Mhm.
here with my wonderful guest, Joe. Welcome back.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
We got a nice little city background today
I
for
know.
us. And talking about all new Wolverine. I like that all new different, all new, all different Wolverine new reader.
Nice.
Yeah, that was just like a surprise, like a glitch in the
Mhm.
matrix. You guys, it's fine. So hopefully, usually people have a bit more of a reminder about today, but
Right.
they'll show up.
They'll show up. We'll be fine.
And they don't. It's probably less stress that way. There's less people to impress. You
Exactly.
know. All right, so
Mhm.
we were talking about all new Wolverine. Um, I read this before. I think a big part of it, like I was just telling Joe before the show, like 4 years ago,
Right.
and then I read it all today on Marvel Unlimited. Do you have the omnibus, Joe, or
I
did
do.
you?
I literally have it right in front of me.
I want to see it. Oh, it's so
Well,
nice.
this is without the dust jacket.
Oh well,
The,
I like it without the dust jacket.
the back is amazing too.
Oh, it's so nice. I'm
Yeah.
still sad I didn't. I mean, it's not too late to buy one, but
No, I think you could still find it. I don't think it's out of print or anything.
yeah, because I really like the series a lot, and
Yeah.
I didn't remember reading the end of it before last time I read it,
Yeah.
so I feel like like this time it was like really complete. Um, oh yeah, that is a good question. How is Joe going to talk about Gabby? How we tell which Gabby he's talking about? For people at
That is
home,
funny.
Joe's daughter's name is Gabby. Hi, Gabby.
There
I
she
was thinking about that too.
is. I can say honey badger instead.
Yeah, you can. It's cute. That's a
Mm-hmm.
cute little nickname.
Mm-hmm. So
Um, so normally, like, I give like a kind of like a not like a summary, but sort of an idea of what's this is. And I guess I still will. To me, this is like the book that a lot of people have read. I feel like,
right.
but for people who don't know, this is centered around Lord Kenny,
Kenny, I think.
aka X-23, aka Wolverine,
Yes.
and X-23. For my other X-Men Evolution fans out there, it came from X-Men Evolution, which is my favorite X-Men show.
Nice.
Um, but she is a clone of Wolverine, also referred to as Wolverine's daughter.
Right.
Now, as you and I discussed, neither of us have any real working idea of what Wolverine was doing before this book started.
Right.
Um, I don't think you need to know. I think this is very new reader friendly.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Surprisingly,
Yeah.
like, because you're dealing with her, kind of. There's a lot that happens in this, so I can't even
There is
really
a ton.
get into it. You'll
Right.
just hear about it as we talk about it, which we do spoilers. Um, but you have Laura meeting the other clones of her, the other Wolverines that are like her other women, um,
Yeah.
and you are also introduced to Gabby, who was the best,
Mm-hmm.
aka Honey Badger.
Very fun.
Oh my gosh, who
Mm-hmm.
is basically the character? I feel like that's more of the character that you see in like Old Man Wolverine, like the not sorry Logan the movie.
Logan. Right.
It's much more like her, just like downplayed. Like the style is very
Right.
much Gabby, but Gabby
I
is
see that.
like the humor, the love of this book. Plus,
Mm-hmm.
they have a Wolverine, so for me that sells it.
Right.
But I could not begin to like summarize this because there is so much happening.
It's very much. It's globe trotting.
Yeah,
It's space trotting.
yeah,
It's all over the place.
absolutely, and it really rounds together really well. Like
It does.
I can't remember the last time I read a series that I really felt like tied up at the end of an omnibus.
Right. I think it ended perfectly for the
Yeah,
omnibus. I thought it was perfect ending for
absolutely.
it.
Um, man, I'm trying to figure out how the best way we can jump into this.
Well, I could just start in by saying At first I was concerned
Okay.
because the first story arc dealt with clones.
Yeah.
And I've read so many stories with clones,
Oh yeah.
clone here, clone there, and I was like, okay, here's another, Dakin. I don't know too much about him, so I don't know if he's a clone. I'm sure somebody in the comments could say.
Yeah. Yeah. If somebody could tell us, because I don't know either. I just know
Right,
that he looks really cool. I
right,
really like Dakin.
yeah. So I was a little concerned, but then I knew I was reading a Tom Taylor book, and I was like, all right,
We're
let's
safe
let's
here.
see where this goes. So, and then they introduced Gabby Honey Badger, and I was like, okay, this is maybe they're throwing this character in there to attract some younger readers, but she ended up being, for me, the star of the show.
Absolutely.
There was a lot of fun moments with her and Deadpool and um, Spider Gwen, and the list goes on and on. So
Yeah.
it was, my concerns at the beginning were quickly went away as I read
Yeah.
the book. So, but
Yeah.
again, yeah, it goes all over the place.
I mean, I was immediately intrigued because I already liked the character, but I think adding in Gabby really rounded her out because
Exactly. Yeah.
with Laura, she's still a very fun character. Like
Right.
she's sarcastic, but she's definitely a little more guarded. She's a little closer to the Wolverine side. She's really been through some stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas with Gabby, we have a character who was raised by the other clones, but not in like the same situation the other clones were were raised. Where they were like experimented on. They had gone through all of these traumatic events. She was a little more innocent, but not in a way that she's not making adult jokes all the time.
Right.
And is fine with like killing people, sort of.
Right.
So it's a very different effort, but like the combination of those two is such a fun duo from the get-go, and it doesn't detract from any of the like crazy situations that they get themselves in.
Right.
It just adds to it. Them working together adds to it. And I was also really glad, like, warning people about this book. Most books like this, where you have like a younger character that's like your sidekick, there's a constant story of like, why can't I go with you? No, you can't go with me. You're not safe. And there's a little bit of that, but it's never pushed too much. Because normally people pull that way too long.
Well, also Gabby's real assertive. She's like, no, I'm going. So I don't even care what you're saying. She's right now.
I don't feel pain. I don't care.
And even if you leave me, I will find you.
I will find a jetpack.
Right.
I will find a jetpack somewhere. I will bring Jonathan the Wolverine.
Right.
We're going to be there.
Yeah.
When I saw Gabby at the takeout food, I immediately fell in love with her. I saw myself in her.
Right.
Oh, and giving everybody the middle finger was pretty great.
Yeah, right, in the car, right.
Especially literally.
Yeah.
Her middle finger to Deadpool, which is fantastic.
Right.
Okay. So normally I would go through arcs, but I don't think that's as helpful. Although I do want to talk about the last arc by itself.
Well, I could say real quick, in terms of the character X-23.
Yeah.
So prior to this, the only things I've read with her in it were she had a couple of mini series, and then she was in the Chris Yost X-Force run.
Yeah.
So what I knew of her, she was like a stone cold killer.
Yeah.
Very much like a Wolverine, but as a female. I remember reading, I forget what book it was, but there's an awesome sequence where there's this trigger word that's said, and they mention it in this book, and she stalks a family through a house. So she was very much a killer.
Yeah.
Prior to this. And then I stopped reading anything with her a little bit for a little while, and then I picked this up. I was like, this is a different take on Laura.
Yeah.
They gave her a little bit of that human side, caring side, and I contributed that to maybe her losing Wolverine, him dying, Logan. And so, because that's my problem. I don't really know what happened immediately before this to make her this way. But it was a different take, and of course, I'm going to keep saying it's Tom Taylor, right? So he knew how to write her well, and it was fun. So,
well, let's focus on that thing, because I think there's an overall story through this, and a lot of it is when we start out. It seems that like Laura Wolverine is just changing her life, where she's like, I'm not killing people anymore.
Right.
I will wound them. I will do these, but I'm not going to kill anyone anymore. I'm not going to be anyone's tool. I am like retaking myself. And you're kind of like this whole series, these 35 issues.
Right.
There's a huge journey of her not only dealing with that, and becoming a different person, but also kind of making up for those times that she's messed up before. Sometimes literally,
Right.
making up for that, but also making up for that in a way of like with her sisters, the other clones, with Gabby, creating a different life for her,
right.
And paving a different way for herself, and also, like you said before, we're talking about the trigger, literally coming over these obstacles that had kind of held her back. So you get to see a person who's recovering from that in their life and who's making an effort, and it isn't just like a Wolverine but a lady, where we didn't change the dialogue, but now it's this person,
Right. Yep.
And I think that's done incredibly well and very insightful. And I don't know what my hair is doing, everyone. Sorry. I got a comment in a video once. I was like, stop touching your hair. I can't. But there were so many great points in this book where you get to see her really go through that, and what that means, and how do you seek justice without killing someone. And at the same time, if somebody else wants to kill someone, she's like, hey, that's for you to make. That's your decision.
You deal with that.
Yeah. And it's like,
yeah,
you push that guy into a bunch of like zombie rabbits, so you're like, this is whatever.
Right.
But at least that's your decision to make. I'm not going to stop you. Except for her sisters, of course. She's like,
yeah,
we don't do that here.
yeah. But there's and just in the book itself, it goes from having lighthearted issues to some serious heartfelt moments on Roosevelt Island, where she's taking all.
Oh God, let's talk about that one. That's so good.
So yeah, that was a very heavy moment in terms of her saying, let's do it. I'll do whatever it takes to cure these people, and not realizing I don't know if she realized the extent of how many people were on this island and what it'll do for her, but she was game. She was just like, all right, let's do it. Whatever it takes. And the people around her, the supporting cast, like Ironheart and
that was early Marvel, Ironheart too. That's before the costume change and kind of character change.
Right. And so just seeing that whole scene where people are just, like it almost becomes a chaotic scene where everybody's just trying to get at her.
Yeah.
So it's very, very dramatic and very. I don't know. I was concerned.
No, it's beautiful. So people at home, a quick summary of this section if you haven't read it. The Roosevelt Island section is basically this alien lands there to go get help against this sort of disease that they're dealing with, against, and we figure out later, the Brood.
Right.
Always the Brood.
Always the Brood.
But the disease spreads to other people, and it shows itself in like the marks and everything else. And they discover that the only way to really cure them is to have people with like significant healing,
right,
to touch them. And so Laura's like, I have to be the one to do this. Nobody else can. And she stops Gabby from doing it because Gabby can't feel pain. So she doesn't know when to stop herself. And so Laura immediately becomes this like almost like evangelical, like lay on hands person going through the crowd. And you see it, she gets infected as she goes, which is beautiful. Very Princess Mononoke. People at home have seen that. And you see it, and it's just, it drains from her, it ages her as she goes along. And it's the beginning of this also like thing that continues on with this beautiful Wolverine family moment.
Right.
Because Logan shows up, Daken shows up, which someone did answer our question. Half Japanese biological son. Okay. Which makes sense because his name's Daken.
Right.
And Deadpool, you've got Deadpool.
Right.
So they all go in together to kind of carry the load.
Right.
And they wipe out earlier than Laura, and she keeps going. Yeah. To the point where she's grayed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene where like at the beginning before everybody shows up, she can't get to them fast enough. And of course, it's like every zombie movie you've ever seen. They can't handle it. Like, what if I can't save myself when I can't save my kid? I have to get in there. And they just trample her, this woman who's trying to help them in an orderly fashion, with the help of Ironheart. And they're just like falling over her.
Yeah, they couldn't get to her fast enough. Yeah,
Oh
that was a
man.
great scene. But yeah, that's just one scene, and so it goes from that being a heavy issue, and then prior to that, you have, I think it was prior to where she has the body swap with Spider Gwen, which is a fun issue. And what's even more hilarious is the issue with Squirrel Girl,
Oh,
which
which
was
is canonically very important because that's
which
how we
is
have Jonathan.
exactly
Very
who I
important.
forgot the name right before the show. I was like, I called my daughter, Gabby, what's the Wolverine's name? I forgot.
I just love that they gave them an actual Wolverine.
Yeah, it's so funny. At some point, I think they gave him a suit.
Yeah, they do. He's got a little bumblebee suit
Yeah,
to match like I guess the bee for the honey badger sort of deal.
right. So
Oh my
funny.
gosh. But
So
I
funny.
love like the one shot
Mhm.
like comical issues through here were
Right.
fantastic. Like
Yeah.
that Squirrel Girl one, I love Squirrel Girl. I don't care how
Mhm.
stereotypical that is. She's a
Mhm.
fun character, and if you don't
Right.
like her because of just like, oh, it's a girl book, stop it. It's fine.
See, I don't know much about her, so
Oh, I really recommend reading her stuff. It's just goofy,
okay, gotcha.
Um, and the animated specials of her with like Kamala Khan and stuff are all really
Right.
good. But that was hilarious. I had to go help a
Yeah.
squirrel. She's like, "You put that tracker on
You
that
put the tracker
squirrel."
on it, right?
Now he's away from his family.
Yeah.
Like,
Which started from the first arc.
yeah,
You
the
know,
continuity in
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Not many comics get that.
Mm-hmm.
So good. And then
Yeah,
eventually, I like that she just brings him her Jonathan. She's like, "Here's Jonathan. We gotta go save this squirrel." And,
right. Yeah, she opens the door and there's her standing there with Jonathan in her arms. Pretty funny.
and then going to that Deadpool Gabby
Mm-hmm.
one shot, perfect.
Oh, so good. Mm-hmm.
And
I
every
love them together. If they can make an ongoing with them,
absolutely
I'm in.
working
Yeah.
together. She calls him first thing. She's like, "Oh man, Jonathan told me because he has that voice box by then now, right?
Yeah.
This is where the bad man hurt him. We have to go save
Right.
the animals." And Deadpool's like, "It's gonna be illegal. I'll be there.
I'm in. Yeah.
Are we gonna burn it down?"
So good.
Oh,
So good. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I still haven't read any Deadpool, and I know people are gonna be really upset in the chat. I need to add that to my reading list.
The Deadpool ongoing. I don't mean to like
No, it's fine.
sidetrack it.
We're all over the place. It's okay.
The any Deadpool ongoing, I never read.
Yeah.
I've always read things with him in it,
Yeah.
but
Same.
never his ongoing. So I'm curious as to how that would be.
We need to add it to the list.
Yeah.
Read it together for all your new reader because
Yeah.
for years, because I've been in conventions for I don't want to think about how long it's been. A long time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, it's a long time now. And they were always the bane of my existence.
Right.
Deadpool cosplayer. So I was always
they forget about it. They're all over the place. Yeah.
hate him. But then the
Mhm.
movie came out. I loved the movie.
Right.
And then I'd see him in comics. And I really liked that. And so now I'm like, okay, the time has come.
Right.
But I don't know where to start or what to read. I'm working some recommendations in the chat. I trust Jaden.
All right.
Daniel
Way. I'll check that out.
Duplicate power set characters are hard to do well. They work very well together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, trying to say Squirrel Girl is awesome. Thank you.
But yeah, so just the cast of characters in here too. If you want to read some stuff with Guardians of the Galaxy, they're in here.
Yeah.
Ironheart in here, Captain Marvel in here, Nick Fury in here. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't feel like any particular character is out of place. Or why is this person showing up? It just felt well done throughout the whole thing.
I didn't feel like I know there's some places where it would have helped for me to know what's happening around it.
I didn't feel that, right?
But it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was fine, even as like because there's a few like there's like during Civil War II issues,
right,
which I'm never gonna read.
I haven't heard good things about.
I haven't either.
Yeah,
but I didn't feel at any point that I'm missing anything.
Right,
and that's really hard to do.
Yeah,
because so many books, like I'll complain about Hick Avengers until I die. Do not do that.
I mean, I read it. Is it my favorite? No,
I read it like 3 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never again.
I think I read it once and I was like, I'm
Yeah,
good.
it's
Anything that I need to know, I'll just Google it.
Yeah, because I never knew. But this one, I was
Mhm.
like, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
At the very least, they didn't over-explain anything,
Hmm.
which is also good because they know you as the audience will understand. But
Right.
they also didn't like completely blindside you with anything. Like
Yeah.
you understand very quickly kind of who is there and what. And like before you had the thing with her mother,
Hmm.
they do a little bit of like a kind of like, oh, this is where this happened. So at least
Right.
you kind of know. I
Yeah,
really appreciate that.
they didn't make anything like too convoluted. They brought back things from her past, like I said, in terms of the trigger word and her mom and so on. And they brought it into this book, and they didn't overcomplicate things. They
Yeah.
gave you what it was, and here's the story arc, and here we go.
Yeah,
Um,
and the characterization of everyone just drove the story itself.
mhm,
All those characters are so alive. I feel like by the end, I knew who Daken was. I knew who this
mhm,
Wolverine was. I
right.
had a good feeling for these
Which is
like
my problem a little bit with Marvel.
character types.
Like why is this Logan? Why does this Logan exist in this universe?
I don't know.
Do
So
we need
someone
this
can tell
guy?
us. I
Yeah, do we
guess.
need this guy in this universe? Is
I
there
don't
like
know. He seemed nice. I guess. I don't
I mean, but
know.
he also wanted to kill Gabby. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
didn't know what that
oh.
was about.
Yeah, something about his in his future, Gabby kills Laura. I'm like,
I
okay.
guess we'll have to read Old Man Logan, I guess, to figure it out.
Well, I read Old Man Logan and I was like, okay,
Oh,
this is fine.
is that not the same guy?
It is, but
Oh,
why bring him from his
oh.
universe into the actual Marvel 616?
I don't know. Marvel's weird. That's what happens when you don't reboot anything.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong. It was like it gave you that suspense of why is he after Gabby? What's going on? So that was
Yeah.
cool.
Because how
And
could
then
you? Look at her.
right, and then give him a little bit of redemption when he came back to help on Roosevelt Island. So
And speaking of the next thing,
mhm.
I definitely want to talk about Children of X because that storyline came basically like the catalyst for the Children of X coming up
Mhm.
was the Roosevelt Island.
Right,
In People Home, you had all these people who felt like they had been wronged or orphaned because of mutants. And I think it's specifically because of people, Wolverines.
right,
They had a specific
mhm.
issue with them.
Right.
Um, and that's why they're the orphans or the children of X. I forget, it's
Mhm.
children of orphans.
I think it's orphans.
Orphans of X.
Yeah, I think so. Could be
And so when they see their people that they're supposed to be so angry about becoming heroes,
right.
then they're kind of like starting the next phase of their mission to kind of
Mhm.
ruin them. And I really, really enjoyed that whole plot line. Before we get started talking about it, though, I do have a question for the chat that's read this. They call the sword Muramasa.
Thank God you
Now,
pronounced it because I would have butchered it.
normally the name of
Mhm.
like the most powerful sword is always Muramasa.
Ah,
So I was confused. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Somebody in the chat can tell me. But
yeah,
it bothered me. Anyways, has nothing to do with the story. It was great.
right.
Um, so they find this. The point is to find the sword that's been broken up that was made from Wolverine's soul that I
Correct.
guess he was using to attack Daken
Correct.
to cut his claws off.
Right. See, I remember that sword showing up when a character by the name of Gorgon shows up. Like,
Yeah.
this is previous to this book. I remember seeing that sword, and then I remember them or some reading somewhere where they take parts of the sword to make Daken's claws from.
Yeah.
And I guess they reforged the sword for Wolverine to take out Daken at some point, and then
Okay.
I could be completely wrong. So somebody in chat, fill me in.
Is that the one that stops healing factor? I think so.
Yeah.
I think we're coming right off of that.
Correct.
Because if they attack, if they want to get it, then reform into bullets so they can actually kill them.
Exactly.
And it must be a different spelling from the actual historical swordsmith.
Mhm.
Because I play a lot of video games. It's always Muramasa.
Okay.
in video games.
Good show.
In Square Enix video games, anyways. But yeah, this whole part was really interesting and interesting to watch because one, you have this whole family come together,
Right.
and you have Laura and Gabby going back to her family.
Right. Her mom.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
And her aunts.
Right.
And also the return of Daken, who's come there to kind of help her out.
Yeah.
And the whole sequence is great because one, you start off with the death of what Laura assumes to be your mom, because Daken immediately comes in and shoots her.
Right.
It's not funny. I'm sorry. Guys.
Right now, I was like, "What just happened?" Yeah. Hold on one second.
She's right. But man, I fell in love with Daken in this whole sequence. He's so charming and funny. And
I need to know more. I don't know.
His arm comes off and he regrows it, and Gabby's like, "Do you have like a permanent tattoo artist?"
Right.
At the ready.
Of course, Gabby would say that. Right. It was so funny.
And by the time they get there into like the actually, I shouldn't skip right. Everything about this is really good because one, they have to like go to Muramasa to, get help and get the shield that was already made and make this really cool bomb ass like Wolverine soul samurai armor for
right.
Laura,
They make it for right,
which is so cool. And you had this really cool moment going because like fighting all these like shadow samurai, which is fun.
Right.
But then you also have Daken, who's like, "I'm gonna get in this ship. I need a weird favor. Do you have a phone?" So he like sticks it inside himself, gets captured, so he can die.
Right.
And they can cut it out of him so they can track the phone.
Track the phone. Which is super smart, but also super like, what are you attempting here? Yeah.
But I love
crazy.
The orphans of X were so interesting because you have this group that's just people that are hurting. And like when you first see them in person without the mask on, they're just regular people.
Right.
And like it's almost like there was like a lottery. They voted to see who would be given like the honor to shoot the Muramasa bullets.
Yeah.
At like what we have, Sabretooth.
Right.
Yeah. We should know his name. That's bad.
What, his real name?
Deathstrike.
Lady Deathstrike. Yeah.
And Wolverine.
Correct.
And you kind of like, I mean, it's awful, but I also see where they're coming from.
Right. Because
it's almost
all
like,
of them are super killers. They didn't care. They killed everybody.
I've watched tons of movies where you have like the talk about like you have a family who's been wronged by a murderer and they're talking about who's going to exact their revenge.
Oh,
of course. Very like Korean movie plot.
Yeah.
And I saw that here. And the way Laura went about it was great. Because she's like, no, I know why these people are hurting. And she came to them, took off her armor, and she's like, I'm a victim too.
Right.
Like, yes, I did those things, but I'm not going to take responsibility anymore for doing those things. Other people controlled me and made me do those things. I thought that was so powerful.
Right. No, it's definitely a great arc. I think it was, well, again, they mentioned her, basically her nemesis, which is Kimura, I believe.
Oh yeah, something like that.
Yeah, she existed way before this. There's some brutal scenes in some other books that she was in with her and Laura. So it was good. It was cool to see Taylor bring back all these characters in here and actually build a great story. Using the, creating these bullets and the armor, just building on the, I guess, the Wolverine lore, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Very fun. Going back to Japan. That's what I'm saying. It was all over the place.
Masamune. That's what I was thinking of. Masamune. Okay. There was something, but yeah, that's why I was confused. Because it was like Muramasa sounded really close. Anyways, not important. It's just my curiosity. Thank you, a roguish type.
Yeah.
Well, of course, Cyclops is better than Wolverine. You would say that. I'm not a Wolverine fan. He's overrated. I'm a Cyclops guy through and through. I would never guess by your username.
Yeah, I like Wolverine, but I'm also a fan of Cyclops in certain situations. There's some story arcs that are a little questionable in terms of Cyclops, but
Oh yeah.
he always gets the short end of the stick, in my opinion. But
Yeah, I mean, they have to blame it on somebody,
exactly,
you know?
exactly.
And when you're the team leader, kind of,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
just, what are you going to do? Someone has to be the stickler. Like,
Yep,
it is what it is.
it is.
Sorry, Scott. And also, you do kind of hoe around a bit. So
It does.
you kind of have it coming to you, you know?
That he does.
Not related to the story.
No.
We'll leave questions at the end of Scott honing it around.
Right.
The last 10 minutes of the show. Anyway, I don't even know what I was getting at, but yeah, I thought that scene at the end was beautiful.
Right. I think that was the strongest of the story arcs.
Yeah,
Because, like I said, it started with me. The clones in the beginning wasn't the
Mhm.
best for me, but then by the time you hit this arc, it's like, okay, this arc is fantastic.
Yeah, I was surprised because I thought they'd go when I started it, and as we got to like more apartment living with her and Gabby, in my mind, I was kind of expected to go more of like a Kate Bishop Hawkeye route, where it's more of the kind of like day to day, because a lot of
Mhm.
like female superheroes tend to be the day to day like
Right.
monster of the week sort of deal, which I
Yeah.
really enjoy. But this is really refreshing to be
Yeah.
for her to be given this really distinct character storyline.
Yep.
And then we get to old woman.
Right.
Is it what's it called? Is it
I forgot what the story arc
old?
is
Is
called.
it old woman Wolverine? That sounds like a
It
mouthful.
could be. I don't know because the
Old
Omni,
gal Laura.
is it? Is that what it's
No,
called?
I don't think that's what it's called.
I was like, no, no. But I'm reading the Omni. And it didn't have the story. Maybe in the table of contents.
Oh, okay.
It just has the cover page with no words or anything on
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't know what it's
can't
called.
remember because I was reading on Marvel
Yeah,
Unlimited.
Unlimited. Mm-hmm.
But I thought, and there was a lot to that story.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. One, I thought it was a perfect closure.
Yeah, it was a perfect end cap. Boom. This is fantastic.
So wonderful.
Yeah. Just seeing Gabby grown up.
Oh,
And
she
what
was so
she became.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about her partner. Because I said Taylor, but they added no pronouns. I was like,
who knows?
Okay.
Yeah, who knows?
But oh man, Kamala Khan was president. I was like, yes.
Yeah, very fun.
And Laura is queen of Madripoor, which I thought was wonderful.
Right,
Your Highness.
Right, because that went back to that story arc where they were smuggling humans and stuff in Madripoor, right? So that was really cool that she decided to take over. And then out of nowhere, Doom shows up. I'm like,
yeah,
what?
One, I don't know if that, because there's a lot of those like old whatever.
Right.
So maybe the people in the chat know better if that's like confirmed Marvel future.
Right. Who knows if this is gonna be the actual continuity? We have no idea.
But it was so cool, so interesting. I'm so lost right now. Okay, so it ends with like 3 or 4 issues where we go way into the future.
Correct.
So Laura, Wolverine, is dying. And basically before she goes, and she's very casual about it.
Mm-hmm.
She brings Gabby over and she's like, they order her favorite food, 25 with chicken or something.
20, yes, it is.
I don't know what that means.
Never heard of it.
Is that a real New York thing?
Nope.
Well,
never heard of it.
And she's like, what's the occasion? She's like, oh, I'm dying.
Right.
And she's like, I have 2 things I want to do. And again, she has stopped killing. But she's like, I want to kill Doom. And I want to find our sister.
Right.
And then I'm good. Mm-hmm. And I love that. Because this whole time she's like, I'm not killing anymore. But this time she knows it's so bad that she has to.
Right, she has to kill him.
Doom is
And
the
the,
kind of guy you can't just let go.
no, and his reasoning for wanting her makes perfect sense as well.
Boy, and he had a whole plan.
He had a whole plan.
He put out this information to get her to come
Right.
to where he is, because he's created this dome over this city where no one can come out or in. Very Doom. He has Doom bots because, of course,
right.
Gotta still have a better bots. Name for that.
Can't change it now.
And she recruits this like great group of people to help her out. Maria Hill still kicking.
Right. Yep. Scar on her face, I think she had. Did she have a
scar? She had a scar over her eye too.
She's definitely seen some stuff.
Yeah. So it's like she had lost her eye and got it replaced or something.
Right.
Captain Marvel.
Right.
And Kate Bishop Hawkeye.
Correct.
Loved it. And then a surprise character. Which, before we talk about that whole conversation back and forth, because Maria's like, okay, I gotta take this shot. I gotta take the shot of this Doombot. I don't know if I can still hit it. And Captain Marvel's like, your tech doesn't work in here, because she's like a cyborg.
Right. Right, that's right. Because as soon as they go into the bubble, all the tech stops.
She's like, I don't think you're gonna be able to hit this. And Kate's like, I am right here. I'm literally Hawkeye.
Right.
Love that.
Yeah. It's Tom Taylor's writing, his wit. Yeah, and some of these exchanges are really fun.
And then they shoot not with Nadia Van Dyne out of there.
Yeah. Right.
She's like, oh yeah, I'm not dead. I'm just literally this size forever.
Forever. Yeah.
And then you find out
if you're really
all
lost,
these superheroes in there, because he's been trying to figure out how to keep himself alive.
Right.
America Chavez, aka Captain America, this time is there. Okay.
Yeah, they come out, right? And they're all like decrepit, kind of.
So sad.
Yeah. Miles is there.
Miles Morales.
Yeah. Rocket. Yeah.
Thor.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was like, how? I'm so glad she went in there and killed him.
Yeah.
I'm so sad.
Yep.
Oh, and the bit where she tried to lift the hammer.
Oh, right.
Hilarious. She's like, I'll show you how much I've changed, Doom. And she goes to lift the hammer, and she's like, man, it's so cool. Sure worked.
Can't have everybody lifting hammers.
I was really hoping. Yeah. Oh my God.
No, very fun. It was cool to see. It's the shot where you see the different cells and you can see the heroes within each cell. Yeah. Yeah, very cool.
So interesting and so sad. But also, if they made a video game of this, I'd love to play through that.
That'll be funny.
Oh man.
Just rescuing these heroes.
And she killed him in the best way, because he's like, I'm going to take your body and I'll put my mind into your body. And she's like, yeah, fucking go. Sorry.
Just do it.
Go for it. And she's like, sweet, I'm dying. And he's like, it sucks in here. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to my body. She's like, you can't. I already killed you.
Yep. No, that was perfect. Very perfect.
I loved it.
Yeah, that I think was the perfect. Like, this is one of my favorite Omnis, just for the fact that from beginning to it has a perfect beginning and a perfect ending. I think I saw somebody post that they didn't like the ending of it, but I thought it was fantastic. It was like, this is all I need. If I don't want any more X-23 Wolverine,
you're good.
I just have this and I'm good.
Yeah, because I mean, how often do you read a superhero comic that's within the main canon that wraps up at all? Because once you're done, the story's still open.
Correct.
And you're going to go read the next author or whatever. And it never actually ends. And it's only those like one-offs or like, Elseworlds that like have closure.
Do you know if this continued after Tom?
So according to when I was reading on Marvel Unlimited, Tom Taylor's didn't continue, but when I got to the end of it, it was like, go read X-23 #1 by Mariko Tamaki.
Oh, okay.
So
gotcha.
I guess I don't know if the old woman whatever is considered canon or not, but
Right.
In my mind, it is.
Yeah.
But
Like this just makes me more like I said before reading this, I was a fan of the character, but not like
yeah,
I need to consume everything X-23 or Laura Kinney. But now after reading this, I'm more curious because you have a great writer that picked her
hmm
up and gave her a different voice, I
yeah,
guess, with, playing as Wolverine during a time where Logan did not exist.
yeah,
And so what happens after this? Like, and we all know that Logan comes back. How does she
right.
handle that? Um, how is she during the Hickman era of X-Men? Does she exist in that era? Does Honey Badger exist? So I'm
Yeah,
very curious as to what happens after this book. So
yeah. I'd like to know. Maybe chat can help because I loved this run, and I only ever hear about this run when I
right.
hear about the character. So I don't hear about the other ones. And I almost don't want to read her as X-23 because I
Mhm,
hate that if Logan comes back, she doesn't have the title anymore.
mhm.
Which is why I have a lot of respect for Hawkeye because they're both Hawkeye.
Right. Right.
Uh, but yeah, I want the same thing to happen. I don't want. I
Right.
just want them to hang out and do
Yeah.
things.
I just don't want um the character to be pushed to the side
Yeah,
after having such a good book. And it's like, nah, we don't need her anymore.
yeah,
She's what fit the bill at the time that we needed
yeah.
her to. And now we're gonna move on. I think there's more stories that you could do with her.
And
Um,
I think out of the legacy, like the Marvel legacy characters, because really, like around this time,
right,
you know, a lot of people complain about it, which I understand because they were like, let's revamp everything all at once, and that can
yeah,
be a lot of people to take.
right.
But
It's
they didn't have a lot
overload.
of legacy characters
Hmm.
like DC did, so it makes sense. They're like, okay, let's everyone's got one now,
Right.
and not all of them caught their footing right away. But I think out of all of them, like this is one of the strongest ones out of the list. I have a lot of favorites of legacy characters,
Oh, absolutely.
but as far as like the story that's told for the character, I think this would be the best one.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
love it. So I guess we should give our ratings and then chill with the chat.
Okay.
This is a oh man, I want to say 10 out of 10.
I mean, I do too, but I don't. I'm not gonna say
I feel like I should say 9. There's some art places where the art's very good.
that's
There
exactly
are
what I was
some
gonna say.
places where the art is very weird
Hmm.
and not it's not enough to like really take me out of it
Right.
because the art does change a lot. But there's one artist in there where all of a sudden Laura looked like a very old lady, and then
Yeah.
I was like, what
Yeah.
are you doing? And so some of the times I was like,
Yeah.
and then they would draw her where her whole body shape would be different between artists, and it made it confusing to tell who was who. I think
Right.
that
That's
was
the only for
hard.
me. That's the only chink in
Yeah,
this. So I'm gonna give it a 9, and just because of the art, like somebody in the chat mentioned when Honey Badger was giving the middle claw, right?
yeah.
There's a panel that she's doing that, and the claw doesn't actually look like it's coming out of her hand. It just looks like it's sitting on top. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
I, I found that kind of weird. So that's the only yeah, that's the reason why I would give it a 9. Otherwise, I would give it a 10. If there was like
Yeah.
a regular artist that saw the whole thing completely through, I probably would have gave it a 10.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one.
Um, yeah, and the only other nitpick was again starting with the clone story, and I was like, okay, I've read 50 million clone stories. I don't need another one, but it ended up being really good, right? Because it introduced Gabby. So,
It's best.
yeah, I give it a 9.
And that's a pretty like it's hard to give long running series as a whole
Hmm.
a high rating sometimes.
Yeah,
Because it's hard to keep something good throughout. There's very
agreed.
few I think do that. I can name a lot of DC that do
Hmm.
that, but I can't name as many Marvel. Now, part of that's I haven't read as much
Sure.
long run Marvel series, but
Right.
still.
I get it.
So, chat, what's up? What are you guys reading? How do you feel about this run? Everybody knows, but I redecorated the room.
I know. I think you posted a video or something.
Oh yeah, I did. I
Yeah,
think my personal stuff. So you saw it, but not
yeah.
everybody. Oh no, I
Hmm.
think maybe I did post on Twitter.
I'm surprised my daughter is like, look at that Wonder Woman poster. It's so awesome.
Listen, all these ones from over here on the wall are from the DC poster portfolio.
That's awesome.
So it's
The
like,
one by Art Germ is really cool.
yeah, because the art germ one and the other one, they're like 22, 25
Hmm.
bucks,
Right,
like regular retail if you don't buy it from IST. And there's a ton of stuff in there. It's nice prints.
right.
So I'm gonna buy them all and then just have them to give us gifts all the time.
Sure, yeah. That makes
Wow,
sense.
Dad. Yeah, the Wonder Movie poster. Of course.
Well, you guys got a similar start in comics, I think, because I know you were always, around Omar, and I think
Yeah.
you might have read manga before, seeing
Oh,
Wonder
I've read
Woman.
manga since I was a kid. Yeah.
Right. So, but then seeing Wonder Woman is what triggered. Correct me if I'm wrong. Your
Oh, yeah.
love, and that's what happened with Gabby, my daughter. She saw Wonder Woman, and then we went to a comic book shop, and she was like, "I'm picking up my first collected edition." I was like, "All right, great," and it was downhill from there. So
Yeah, because I watched all the movies, but like it wasn't until Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Wonder Woman that I was finally like, I want to dip my toes in and
right,
see, because my whole life I was like, I have too many hobbies.
hmm
I
that's
think a
the
lot of people
story
can
of my
relate.
life.
I know, same way I was like, I'll never play D&D or, Um, but yeah, those got me. And then I've talked to Omar. He's like, hey, here's here's like a whole tablet,
You're right.
because for his old job he just had those. He's like, I already loaded it with comic books. Just start reading stuff.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And then it was just like you read one character's thing, right? Because like even with this, you read this. Now I'm like, okay, I want to read more about Daken, and I want to read
Right.
more about this, because it's just like
Mm-hmm.
you just keep going.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, she did it. Too bad that second movie wasn't good.
No, I remember watching it and finishing the second movie, and I don't know if I was just in a weird state because it was Christmas. I was like,
Yeah,
it wasn't bad. I thought it was pretty good. And then as I'm thinking about it and I'm talking about it with Gabby, I was like, maybe it wasn't
yeah.
that great.
We rent out a
Like,
whole theater because it was my birthday.
all right. Yeah.
Speaking of Guardians, as I
Yeah.
was telling Joe before the show, if you guys like the movie, and I can't speak as much for the comic books, but I think if you like the comic books as well, the Guardians of the Galaxy video game is perfect.
Yeah. I
It's
need to. I
perfect.
need to look at that.
The dialogue is perfect.
No.
Um, all the extra characters, the way they did Mantis, who's my sweet baby angel, perfect.
Right.
Adam Warlock, hilarious. And
Also,
Lady
Adam Warlock is in it as
Hellbender,
well. Huh?
guys, you guys tell me about Lady Hellbender.
Lady Hellbender. Who is that?
She's she's something.
Is she a villain?
She's I don't really know. She like has like a planet full of like monsters that she
Huh.
like she goes and gets monsters from the rest of the worlds like
Mhm.
across the galaxy and keeps them on the planet to be safe and like live their lives. So she has her own like monster army sort of deal.
Right.
But she's very tall, very Red Sonja built.
Oh, really?
And I'm very upset no one told. You mean the Celestial Madonna? Of course. Mantis? Celestial Madonna?
Yeah, I need to check that out. My son is the big video gamer of the crew,
Yeah.
but he didn't mention that to me. So man, I'm gonna see if he wants to pick that up.
I played it on the easier mode. I can play hard video games. I just don't want to.
Now, do you get the full ending when you play it on easy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I really appreciate that because I was looking through the trophies.
Yeah.
And there's not a single trophy in there that was like you have to play it at the hardest difficulty. And I really appreciate that. Because I do want to take the time to get all the items and do all the skills.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't care enough to do the other stuff.
Right.
The story is perfect.
Okay.
And even if you're with somebody who doesn't want to play it, the two of I play with my husband and we work together to be like, okay, let's make this decision for the dialogue to see how that changes things.
Right.
But the little references to other things, like you find a database, they're like, you see Nova, you see Moondragon, you see all these other characters. I was like,
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. I have to look at that.
Lady Hellbender is Hellbent on Amadeus Cho. You don't have a chance, buddy. So what have you been reading? What's new in Joe World?
I'm reading Wicked and Divine because somebody's asking me to.
Next month. I'm so excited. I've never read it. So.
I just finished issue 3.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. The art is very good. I like very clean.
Yeah.
So I'm on board with that. Yeah. So
I'm excited.
I have a 3-hour ride up to Rhode Island at some point, so I'm gonna take that with me and try to finish it off.
Yeah.
But I've been reading that. I'm trying to think of what else I need to get on. I need to get on Young Avengers. I haven't read that yet.
I've got that too.
There's a bunch. Like I was telling you before, I'm just my mind is in 50 million places because I have so many hobbies, painting models and trying to get into video games. Like I was saying, box is still staring me in the face with the Switch. So I got a Lego set because of Jess.
Get Legos now. I've thought about it, but I can't do that.
I watched him build a Batmobile, and then I end up ordering the Daily Bugle, which is like,
I bet
take me
cool.
forever.
It feels like making puzzles.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do it at some point. I'm waiting for the right time, so we'll see.
Yeah, but I understand. I have so many things. I'm also listening to books, and I'm watching regular TV shows too, like regular people movies.
There's so many shows I want to watch. Raised by Wolves, Station.
Oh, so good.
11, I think.
So good.
There's so many I want to watch.
I can watch things in the background while I work. It's just how
I can't do that because I'm scared I'm gonna miss something.
Oh yeah, mine's not like that. So with my ADHD, I have to have something else on too.
Right.
So I'm always watching things.
I missed the new season of Dexter.
Me too. Out of Showtime.
Yeah, me neither.
I can't justify another streaming service, but I want to watch Dexter so bad.
I can't. Me too. I mean, previous to this episode, this season, it ended so bad, and I was like, all right, this has got to be a redemption for it. So I hear good things about it.
Missed it. I love weird serial killer shows. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yep. No, I loved Dexter Morgan. It's really cool.
Gabby's reading Far Sector. Good.
Gabby has, and I don't mean to speak for her, but she has the same problem that I have. So I'm very much into ground level comics, like on Earth, not high tech sci-fi stuff. Once you go off world and you start, dealing with other dialects and technologies and science, then I'm like, I need to start rereading things. And sometimes I'm just like, all right, I'm going to put this down. But the art in that book, in Far Sector, that she's like, Dad, look at this, and I'm like, whoa. So I need to look at that.
His art on Naomi is also perfect. Another thing that needs more stuff, and also another hobby because the show just started. So and now I have to do that.
Yeah, and he also Superman and Lois, because I started watching the first season and I loved it, and then I fell off.
Yeah, I did too, because I was watching it with Elliot and he didn't like it.
He didn't like it?
So now I'm going to have to go back and watch it myself.
I wasn't a fan of him having twin boys.
Yeah. It's
kind of just wanted Jonathan.
Like, yeah, me too. Jonathan. I wanted my boys.
Right. That's all I wanted.
I wanted my super sons.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, good. Hayden says Dexter New Blood is the final season we should have had. Good.
See? Now I need to go watch.
Have you watched the animated series around with Candy Cane? I don't know what you're talking about.
An animated series that what?
I feel like I should know. Is it Bad Words? Is that why?
Is it Arcane?
Oh, that's why you're saying it, Jaden. Okay. No, I haven't.
Arcane is amazing.
I know I need to.
So good.
The problem is now I started it and then it wasn't the right mind space to watch it.
Yeah.
But now it comes up all the time because everyone's like, they're bullying me.
I was not expecting it. I was like, I'm gonna watch the first episode and it's gonna be all right. And then I was like, whoa, I need to watch this whole thing. The animation is fantastic. The characters are fun. So I'm not playing the video game though. That's not gonna happen.
No.
The League
I
of
know.
Legends stuff. I don't
Yeah.
can't do it.
It's not my type of game. Also, I don't support a lot of people that work on it.
Mm,
But I will watch it. It'll happen.
yeah, it's very fun.
I also have some friends that are like, watch Castlevania because I haven't watched that either. So
I'm gonna pass on that.
yeah, I mean, I have a reason why I'm not so into doing it.
I think you and I have the same reason.
I'll watch it illegally, which is silly. I have Netflix. I'll wait till someone's streaming it on TikTok live, and I'll watch it while they're watching their TV.
Yeah. No. What'd you think of the Moon Knight trailer? Did you see that?
I haven't watched it yet.
Looks good.
I've never read any Moon Knight. I guess I'm gonna have to schedule it because Moon Knight comes out when, like March?
March 30th.
Okay, so then I'll schedule some Moon Knight for March then, so I'm ready.
It was funny because last night after the trailer, like immediately after it finished, I sent a message to Omar. I was like, "All right, give me a good run to read." And he's like, "It was the trailer, right?" I was like, "Yes."
Yeah, well, you message me later. Tell me what he said. I'll follow what you read.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, because I don't think I've read any. I don't think I've seen him in anything.
Again, he's one of these characters that I've only read when he was in things.
Yeah.
And that's it. I know his gist. I know that he's a psycho and multiple personalities and all that stuff. But
man, Marvel loves doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we already had what was it?
Oh.
Nope, it's gone.
It's gone.
Wait, we're getting Train to Busan too? Did I know this?
What?
Is that real?
My son is gonna lose his mind if that's the case. There's a good another Korean zombie movie called I think it's We're All Gonna Die, where it takes place in a school.
Okay.
And it looks as intense as Train to Busan.
Well, I'll watch it because I love Korean cinema, always have.
I thought the sequel to Train to Busan was Peninsula. Because it's in that world.
I don't know.
They also, I think they reference the stuff that happened in Busan.
Well.
But yeah, I think it's We're All Going to Die. Looks very good. Looks very intense.
I'll watch it.
Another zombie.
I love zombie films.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Very good.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and call it. I'll be back next week with the Patreon pick. Oh, hey, James. James, what Patreon vote for next week?
I thought it was either Gideon Falls or Kill or Be Killed. It's one of those.
Okay.
They were neck and neck.
Next week, you guys, is the Patreon vote, and we'll be reading one of those things.
I was voting for Rat Queens. Did not.
Rat Queen. I've put Rat Queens on there so many times. It's never gotten voted for.
Damn, the first couple of are so fun.
I'm just gonna have to put it on there myself because I want to read it because I love D&D.
Yeah,
so
it's fun. See, I can never get into D&D. I tried it, but I can never get into it.
Oh yeah, you just need the right person.
Yeah, I have a friend that's big into it, and he was convinced, and then it's.
I think it's all about who you're with and what kind of setting.
Right.
But I also think for watching D&D, also you really have to be choosy because like I don't have the attention span for certain things.
Right.
But like Dropout, which used to be College Humor, they have a D&D show.
Okay.
That's fantastic. So it's all like improv actors.
Interesting.
And it's shorter. So it's very fun. I've really, really gotten into that.
Right.
Because the other ones are like 4 hours long. And then once you get into combat, I don't have the attention span. But there's a new D&D show coming out, the animated show Critical Role, end of this month. And there's comic books for that. So.
Yeah, Critical Role I know is pretty huge.
Yeah. Only a 2 vote. Okay, so Kill or Be Killed. Well, so I'll know by tomorrow.
Okay.
So probably Kill or Be Kills next week, you guys. And you won't believe this, chat, but I have the entire schedule for February already planned out, so I'm not going to miss the first week like I have been. It's a new me.
There we go.
All right, well, First, thank you to Joe again. This has been really nice.
Anytime. It was fun.
This is
Talking
great.
about a good book.
It's very good.
So even though we were kind of all over the place.
Hey, I think with this you have to. I think it was still fun.
I think we hit the important points of the book and the important scenes. So
yeah. Chat, thank you for being so active and awesome as usual. If you're catching us later, I hope you like this video. Continue to subscribe. If you're new, I hope you subscribe. Be cool. I'm here every Tuesday. Comment down below what you thought about All New Wolverine, or if you have any recommendations for future books. And, have a good night.
bye.
Bye, guys.